So there hasn't been a whole lot of action going on with the 49ers in the news. It's kind of slow. The combine hasn't hit yet. But I guess there's a few things that have come up, a few players in the news that, maybe the 49ers want to trade for or sign. So we're going to hit on that today. Welcome in, everybody. Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen. Guys, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much for all of you who subscribe and tune into the channel. I think I made someone mad with my Giants video last time. Not a big baseball fan because we went from 310 subscribers to 309. It's going to happen. It's fine. If at the very least one of you guys on here could just hit the subscribe button to get me at least back to 310 from this video, that'd be great. The goal is to hit 500 subscribers by football season in September. We've been on a heck of a pace the last month, and if we'll be there by the draft if we can continue that pace. But regardless, anything you guys can do as far as subscribing helps a ton. Like the video, make my dreams come true of being able to do this full time eventually, talking 49ers, football, and whatever else I feel like. So in the news, there's been, especially today, there was this tweet by Max Crosby, and he was talking about how much he loved the Bay Area. He'd just been in the Bay Area, visiting apparently, talking about how much he loved the Bay Area and talking about how he's going to be back soon. And of course, 49er fans are in a tizzy over it. I'm not calling out 49er fans. I am 49er fans that were in a tizzy. That's who I'm referring to. Because it would be incredible. Incredible. We know that Myles Garrett has requested a trade. As of right now, it doesn't feel like Browns front office are going to acquiesce to that trade request. There's nothing that says Max Crosby is going to be traded either, but it's interesting to talk about right now. He, of course, would be an incredible addition, but it's tough to really get that excited about Max Crosby because there's no chance Mark Davis is going to trade Max Crosby to the 49ers. We've already seen this with the Khalil Mack trade back in, 2017, 2018. 49ers had a better deal, better offer on the table than the Bears did, but he didn't want to trade to the 49ers. A lot of bad blood there, sharing the Bay for a while. Now they're in Vegas, though, so who cares? The only way that a Max Crosby deal would happen where he would actually send him to the 49ers is, in my head, it's Tom Brady. Tom Brady is a part of the organization now. He basically, it sounded like he was leading the charge to hire the new head coach, and he went with Pete Carroll, which I think is actually a pretty decent hire for them. So for some reason, the 49ers are offering like a really good deal, and Tom just feels like, look, this is what's best for the organization. He could potentially get in Mark Davis's ear and just help him see like it doesn't have to be all this bad blood, whatever. I don't think that's going to happen, but that's like an avenue maybe. I don't know if Tom, I'm not saying he'd do that because he loves the 49ers. We all know he grew up a 49er fan. He's probably offended Shanahan never signed him, but I don't know, whatever. I'm just saying maybe if the 49ers offered a great deal like 2-1s, Tom would just be like, look, let's put aside our personal feelings and do what's best for the organization. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. So 49er fans, I wouldn't get too excited about it. The other one is Joey Bosa. You guys have seen this. I mean, it's no secret. They have talked about pretty openly that they would love to play together, the two brothers, Joey and Nick. And Joey's biggest problem is he can't stay healthy. He's a good player, but that's much more realistic and more likely than the Max Crosby thing. Now, they wouldn't trade for Joey Bosa. The reason this all came up is because there's rumors that Joey could be a cap casualty if he won't agree to restructure his deal that he just signed last year, I think. So maybe the Chargers want to move off from him. I don't know. But if that happened, he's going to be owed money, guaranteed money from the Chargers. I don't know what his contract looks like right now. And if he's wanting to play with his brother, there's a good chance he's going to take some kind of discount. Now, if you sign Joey Bosa to a really team-friendly deal on some sort of discount, like great, like I'm all for it because you need pass rushers. As long as his contract is low enough, he's not going to move the needle for me like a Myles Garrett or a Max Crosby would, but he certainly would make your team better as long as he's healthy, which you can't count on him being healthy a bunch. But I will take all the pass rushers I can get as long as it doesn't hamper me cap-wise. I think all 49er fans did get, I don't know if riled up is the right word for this one, but Joey and Nick's mom, Miss Bosa, I don't know her first name, she liked a tweet about, there was a picture of Joey and Nick in 49ers uniforms, and she liked a tweet. So like clearly they've talked about it. I think if he gets cut, the first thing Joey's going to say is, I'm interested in going to San Francisco. It doesn't mean he will, doesn't mean the 49ers will be interested or that they can come to terms on the money, but it's safe to say if he gets cut, he wants to go to San Francisco. Don't know if he will. I think it would be a good move if the money's right, just because you need pass rushers, okay? It wouldn't change anything you do in the draft or anything like that, but it would be a good situation. And the Myles Garrett thing, guys, listen, I'm all pro. I've done multiple videos on this. I'm very pro trading for Myles Garrett. Here's the problem. If they are not going to trade him before the draft, that hurts the 49ers a lot. Why? Because the biggest thing going for the 49ers right now is that 11th overall pick. Because they are a team that feels like they're contenders and they have a super high draft pick. Why do they have a high draft pick? In their eyes, it's because of the injuries, okay? And so they feel like if everyone's healthy, we're a contender again. So they feel like, look, we could give you the 11th pick. Well, if they wait until after the draft, like some people have speculated, like nothing would make me happier than to get to use the 11th pick and then trade for Myles Garrett. But the problem is you don't have that 11th pick anymore. And the Browns probably view it that way. If the Browns are trading for your 2026 first-round pick, they're like, okay, well, you're the 49ers. You're probably going to be picking somewhere in the 20s, late 20s. So that hurts you a lot. So I'm just saying that to say this. I don't think it's dead, but the longer the Browns go without opening, being open to trade talks for Myles Garrett, the less likely it is the 49ers will land him. It's still really early. The combine hasn't even happened. And there'll probably be a lot of talks and a lot of juice in that arena come the combine, because all the GMs are there and the coaches are there and there's a lot of talking going on. And so we'll see. I know the 49ers are going to try. I know that they're going to try. Here's what I wanted to hit on real quick too, and then that'll probably be the end of the videos. I've talked a lot about pick 11, and here's the thing. If you still have pick 11, meaning you haven't traded it for Myles Garrett or Max Crosby, which if I had to put money on it, neither of those things are going to happen. But we can dream. We don't have to give up on it until it's dead officially. But hypothetically, you still have pick 11 going into the draft. Anything short of, Abdul Carter or Mason Graham falling to you, both of those guys I think are generational guys that immediately are plus players at their position, immediately make you like a lot better. They're not just like, okay, he's serviceable. They immediately make you a better football team. Assuming neither of those guys are 11, no chance Abdul Carter is. There's like a 5% chance Mason Graham is if things get weird with quarterbacks and like, I don't know. I want the 49ers to trade back. I'm not going to be sad if they take someone else. Like if they take a Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks at 11, I won't be sad. If they take a Tyler Warren, like I will pump the table for Tyler Warren. I love Tyler Warren, even if it's, they have other bigger needs. I hope they trade back, and here's why. Okay, there is so much value for the second, third, and fourth rounds. When I say value, I mean you can find legitimate starters that make you better, given how bad our trenches are, how bad they were in 2024. That if you could trade back to pick 20, right now it's the Broncos. I don't know if the Broncos are going to trade. Maybe they feel like Tyler Warren's their dude. If you could trade back with the Broncos, I don't know what their picks are, but let's say you get their second round pick and their fourth round pick for them to move up from 20 to 11, like that would be awesome. Hopefully it's more. Hopefully it's the second round pick and a third round pick. Shaq Nums, you tell me if you would do that deal. Shaq Nums, you have Tyler Warren on the board. And the 49ers say, hey, we'll trade with you. You got to give us your second and third round picks this year. Would you do that trade? I think I would. I actually think 49er fans, you tell me, I think you'd be pounding the table. Okay, we also need something in 2026 also, like a fifth rounder in 2026. I'm not great with the trade evaluation charts or whatever, but in my head, if I can get the second and third round pick from the Broncos this year to move back 9 spots, like I would be very interested in that because I think that's where all the value is. So you probably still get a guy at 20 that you can plug and play immediately. Okay, if you traded with the Broncos at 20, you would get a guy like a Walter Nolan or a Derek Harmon. Okay, I don't know if Walter Nolan will be there. I think he's getting a lot of steam. Derek Harmon will probably be there at 20. There's other guys too. Like this is one thing that's crazy about the draft is I've seen so many guys like D linemen go in the first round in mock drafts, and then in the next mock draft, I see him go in the second round, and vice versa. Like it feels like there's a huge tier 2 group of defensive linemen, And I'm here for it. Because if I make that trade, I pick a Walter Nolan in the second, I pick 20, let's say he's still there. Well, now in the second round, I have two second round picks now. So I could go in the second round, I could double up on defensive tackles and go TJ Sanders. I mean, there are so many so many guys. Deion Walker from Kentucky, like I could go him potentially. I could go Gray Zabel. I know 49er fans, you're going to lose your mind if we don't use one of our first 2 picks on an offensive lineman. I don't blame you. So could you go Gray Zabel with your second round pick? Is I'm going to mess up his name. Armin Membo, who I've seen mocked in the first round a handful of times, but I've seen other people say he's not going until the second. I don't know. Could you go, is he there? Could you take him in the second round? Could you go Josh Connerly out of Oregon, the tackle? Like, there are guys, there are dudes you could take in the second round. You could take both of them. You could take let's say you take, who's going to be there? Don't hammer me if I'm wrong and like, you're crazy, that guy's not going to be there. I don't know. These are guys I've seen in the second round. So TJ Sanders, second round, and you could also take Membo or Connerly in the second round. So then your first 3 picks would be, let's say it's Walter Nolan, Membo, and Connerly or Zabel. And now you have, with your first 3 picks, you've probably landed 3 starters day one. Like, that's what I want. Plus, if you've added a third round pick too, there's probably an interior guy in the third round you could take. Or, for me, I would love, I'm very big on the 49ers need to come away with tight end 2 in this draft. Not tight end 2 that just blocks, a tight end 2 that is a true threat in the pass game. He doesn't have to be an absolute dominator, but like a threat. And there's a ton of those guys. So I would love to see, okay, we go 2 D linemen and an offensive lineman in our first 3 picks, assuming you get another second round pick. And then in the third round, you have a plethora of guys, okay? That could be their tight end. I'm thinking like Gunnar Helm, Harold Fannin, Elijah Aurora, Mason Taylor out of LSU, like all these guys. Gunnar Helm's out of Texas, Harold Fannin, who I really like, but I think he's moving down the boards as guys like Gunnar Helm and Elijah Aurora out of Miami, are moving up the board. I think you're going to see Harold Fannin drop a little bit because I don't think he's as good of an inline blocker as some of these guys. Mason Taylor out of LSU, like any of these guys I think would be very serviceable as a tight end 2, more of a receiving threat than what you've currently got on the roster right now, like Eric Saubert. And you could probably get them in the third round. Your pick at 75, you probably could get them in the third round. Gunnar Helm, man, is he rising on my wish list? I heard if it was it Todd McShay talking about it on his pod? I think it was, where he was saying Helm is like, he's risen a lot. He's probably a late second rounder, possibly an early third rounder. Like, I would love Gunnar Helm. He blocks, he catches the ball, he's a good athlete. Mason Taylor is also really good. I know at the Senior Bowl it was Elijah Aurora, probably turned the most heads as far as tight ends goes for like helping his stock out of Miami. One of those guys would be incredible. So if you told me your first 4 picks, okay, assuming you traded with the Broncos and you got their second, third round pick, you went Walter Nolan. And then gosh, guys, I don't want to misspeak because people are going to jump down my throat for not being more versed on where guys are going to go. But no one really knows. So let's say you went Walter Nolan at pick 20. You went TJ Sanders or Deion Walker at the next pick. And then Josh Connerly or Membo or Gray Zabel at the second round pick. And then in the third round, beginning of the third round, you got a Gunnar Helm or a Elijah Aurora or whoever, Mason Taylor. And those were your first 4 picks. Like, A+, like all 4 of those dudes would make an impact. And given so between the Trey Lance trade, where we gave up a ton of picks, and between the atrocious 2022 draft and the really bad 23 draft, like, they've got to hit on some picks. So I'm still a proponent. Give me Myles Garrett, give me Max Crosby, we'll figure out the rest, because they are such game wreckers. But if you're not going to land one of those guys, I almost just want to trade back and have that kind of scenario. You fix the trenches with immediate starters, and now you're rocking and rolling, okay? Come at me. Let me know what you guys think. I think a lot of 49er fans are on board with this. Trading back, getting more picks. There's so much value rounds 2 through 4. You can get legitimate starters in the trenches rounds 2 through 4, which is what you need. as a 49er fan, the front office, like that is what they've got to hit on to truly be back in 25 and sustain success. But let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Is Walter Nolan going to be gone at pick 20? Is Mimbo going in the first round for sure? Like, I don't know. Help me figure some of this out, because I've seen it all over the board with certain guys. I've seen a lot of people say Mimbo is going at 11, which feels a little high. I don't think the 49ers are taking a tackle in the first round. I don't. Not at 11. If you traded back to 20 and Kelvin Banks is still on the board, then that's probably a real possibility, but he probably won't be at 20. Anyway, let me know what you think. We're getting closer, guys. Combine next week, and then around free agency, which the negotiating period, the legal tampering period starts March 10th. That's when you're going to really get a lot of this info, the Myles Garrett stuff, the Mason Crosby stuff. As you hit that week and you get closer, it's going to ramp up. So there's no off season, guys. Get pumped for the combine and everything to come. You guys are awesome. Please subscribe. Thank you for hanging out with me. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Comment. Let me know what you agree with, what you disagree with. And that's all I got. Go Niners.